So in Blender, we have a default scene that has a cube, a camera, and a light. In order to select these objects or any object in the scene, you just have to press your left mouse, and you'll see that the selected object is orange or has an orange outline. We also see that something is selected here on the collection panel. So the collection panel right here is the layer panel, as in other software, and you can organize the scene in this way. So in order to orbit around the objects, we can select the object, and then by clicking Alt and left mouse, we can orbit. And as we orbit, we can see here that the coordinate system on the upper right side is also changing along. And so we can also use this in order to rotate, to orbit around. And we can use this axis in order to have an orthogonal view over that same axis. Okay, so this is quite handy in order to have access to different views. In order to zoom in and out, so you are going in and out of the object, is just to scroll the wheel, and if you press the middle mouse button, so the wheel, you will pan around. Okay, so you have all these options also here. Here we have the visibility controls and also controls of what is being displayed on the viewport. So we should leave it like so. So we have access to these gizmos over here whenever we are rotating objects or having access here on the toolbar to some of these navigation elements. So here we can have access to X-ray mode. So X-ray mode enables a certain transparency, so you can see through the object. Here, wireframe mode displays the outlines. This is the default shading mode that is quite useful. And here we have some other previews. This is the material preview, and this is a rendering preview. Okay. So rendering preview, you can see, for instance, if we move this light along the way, that is going to change the shadow. But for now, let's keep it like so. We can also have access to these different shading modes by hitting F3 if we want to cycle through wireframe and shading, and also one that is really important, that is F4, that is to display these lines, the edges. That is going to be really useful when we start modeling. So here on this toolbar, we have access to several tools. We have select, move, rotate, and scale. We can also use the keyboard shortcuts Q, W, E, and R to select, move, rotate, and scale. In order to activate, when we select, in this case, move, we click and drag along one axis, or we can click and drag on this small bracket, and we can move along two axes at once. Okay. When we move this cube, we can see here on the transform panel, and we will look at here as well, the transformation, that this is moving. So we can also have access to the transformation controls over here. And in order to reset this, we just hover the mouse on top of one dialog box, and we just press backspace. Okay, so here we also have some other properties that we are going to look at them as we start modeling in the next videos. But for now, rotating and scaling as well. So scale here works as a uniform scale if you press closer to this white circle. If you press on the axis, you scale along one axis, okay, or two at once if you want. So let's go back to the selection mode. So here below, we can see that whenever we click on a certain tool, or even when you start activating something, there are certain options. So now I'm clicking and starting to drag to move this object. So we have below all these tools uh, that we can have access by hitting the keys that it says. Okay, so if I want to move, for instance, along another axis, I just press Y and it will move along the Y axis. So always pay extra attention to what's happening here below, because the program is trying to communicate with you to facilitate the transformations or implementation of something. Okay. Also, right-clicking enables us to have access to a contextual menu that was going to be different according to the type of object that you select and right-click. Okay. So, in order to other things that are quite useful, one is tab. Tab enables you to look to find for commands if you press tab, and then to finalize, we have here the transformation panel, in which we are going to see this in detail. It's also different. So here you see the tabs are different according to the type of object. So the first ones refer to the scene and rendering that we'll look in later classes, and then these ones are the object properties and other properties as well, and these are going to be different according to the type of object. So in terms of geometry, the most important ones will be, of course, the properties of the object, and also the modifiers. So here the modifiers is where we can change this mesh by applying these kind of force fields that will transform the geometry.